Chapter 7. One of Death's Doors. Jim's father had an appointment with their accountant, and his mother came over from the bookshop to help out. When an addict started a row at the prescription counter, Ilona walked over to quieten things down. She confirmed that they weren't allowed to give out amphetamines without a doctor's prescription, and suggested to the man that he should see his doctor first, or, if he was from out of town, he should go to the emergency ward of the Toronto General. Given advice instead of what he asked for, the enraged addict pulled a gun from his coat pocket and shot her in the face at close range. That morning, Jim had been rehearsing with the Hard House Quintet, and he took the streetcar to meet his mother. They had planned to visit his grandparents' graves, but when he arrived, Ilona's corpse had already been driven away by the ambulance. The bookshop was closed, and the pharmacy was in chaos. The police on the scene couldn't tell him anything. Jim could cope with his grandparents' death, because he had always known that they would go before him. But he could not imagine that his mother was dead. He could not accept that he would never see her again. The policewoman handling inquiries at the station knew nothing about her, and a sergeant who did know refused to say where the body had been taken. "There's no need. Your father has already identified the body." "I have a right to see my mother." "Well, go and see the captain," said the sergeant. Jim was sent here and there, and argued with several reluctant officials, to no effect. "You have no right to keep us apart," he screamed. The captain didn't think it was safe to let him go anywhere on his own, and a police car drove him to the morgue. There he was stopped again. The manager warned him that no one had attended to the body since it had been brought in. It was a busy day, but Jim wouldn't listen. He practically fought his way into the huge cold room where the corpses were kept. When, finally, the elderly attendant, wearing a rubber apron, pulled out the refrigerated steel box, Jim felt almost relieved that he could be near his mother. All he could see, at first, was her hair soaked in blood and mixed with bits of her brain. The head was splintered bones, raw flesh, her eyes blood-soaked little balls. When he noticed her pearls attached to her woundless ears, he collapsed on the tiled floor. The attendant grabbed the inert body under the arms and dragged him out, grumbling. He wouldn't listen. He asked for it. Jim suffered the worst kind of grief. Losing his mother, he lost faith in himself. He tried to raise his spirits by putting his grandfather's cello next to his mother's piano and playing solo pieces for her as if she were still there. She wasn't, and he felt his playing wasn't any good. He wondered whether he would turn out like her, talented but not good enough to be a professional. Her absence made him feel death in his bones. He took a sleeping pill every night. It made no difference. He kept dozing off and was startled awake, tossing about restlessly. One night he fell into sleep, and his mother stood beside him. She was wearing her familiar light blue summer dress. They stood on a crowded platform in the subway, waiting for the train. She was so lively and cheerful, he forgot that she was dead. They were happy, going somewhere together. When the train came, she smiled at him. He stepped forward to make room for her, assuming she would be right at his back so that nobody could get between them. When he looked back, she wasn't there. Alarmed, he stood on tiptoe to look around over people's heads. He couldn't see her. Where'd she gone? He ran along the platform, pushing people aside, searching for her face, her figure, her familiar way of walking, her blue dress. But everybody in the crowd was a stranger. Perhaps she had to go to the washroom, he thought. Stirred by hope, he ran about desperately searching for a washroom. There were no washrooms in the station. Where could she have gone? He was frightened. He couldn't understand. How could she have disappeared? How could she suddenly leave him without a word? He got angry. He wanted to tell her off. She was too old, too intelligent to play hide-and-seek with him. He was so mad at her that he woke up. He leapt out of bed to go downstairs to make sure she was back in the house, then fell back on the bed, feeling sick of life.